How we doing, everybody? UFC Thoughts here, and today I'm going to be going over my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 304, Edwards vs. Muhammad 2 on July 27th, 2024. Let's get right into it with the first fight of 14. We start with Shauna Bannon vs. Alice Ardeline. I'm gonna go with Shauna Bannon. It is a tricky fight, but I just personally believe that Alice taking this fight on short notice, she hasn't fought in coming up on a year. She's on like a 6-fight win streak, but she is just fighting absolute bums. Her last opponent was 0-5. Like, that's their record, is 0-5. I think Shauna's going to be a little bit more technical. She's kind of got a taekwondo base. She does lunge in a lot, which could favor Alice, if I'm being honest. Alice is very powerful, throws a lot of ones and twos down the pipe. Her favorite combo that she likes to throw is a 1-2 and then a left inside leg kick. She kind of throws a lot of leg kicks. Alice is pretty basic when it comes to striking, hence the 9-5 record. She's kind of predictable. I think Shauna is just technical enough. She trains with Patty Hallahan. I think she'll just be able to read and time Alice a little bit. And I also think Alice is going to gas out because she does fight at quite a pace, but most of her finishes as of recent have been first-round finishes. And also, she hasn't fought in coming up on a year. Same with Shauna Bannon, but at least she's had fights booked. And, did she pull out of that fight with Stephanie Luciano? No, she withdrew. Shit. All right. Doesn't fit my narrative. It doesn't fit my narrative. But she's been training, so I will favor Shauna Bannon in this fight. And also, I just think Bruna Brazil is better than Alice Ardeline. And Bruna Brazil is a more technical striker than Alice, which is why Shauna struggled. And Bruna is just, better. Alice is a power puncher, scrapyard dog, OnlyFans model who hasn't fought in a while. She's focusing more on that, what I just previously mentioned, than MMA, I imagine. So, Shauna, I think, will just win on technique. She's also bigger than Alice, which is kind of crazy because Shauna Bannon is kind of small. But Alice, 61-inch reach, she's going to have to trade in the pocket, and I think this fight's going to kind of be like a shitty version of Wonder Boy versus, Vicente Luque, I guess. I don't know how else to explain that. But I think Shauna's just going to bounce in, bounce, and Alice is going to be missing a lot. She will try and push a heavy pace, but I do think she'll gas out. I think Shauna will comfortably win a unanimous decision. We move to Mick Parkin versus Lucas Dreski, or Brzeski, however you want to pronounce it. I'm going to go with Mick Parkin anyways. I think Mick Parkin, I did forget to put him in the prospects video. That's because I thought that him and Mo was really close, and I didn't really rate Mo that highly. And we've just seen how bad fucking Muhammad Usman is. But, I will say I looked back at the Mick Parkin Jamal Pogues fight, and that fight really shows how decent Mick Parkin is. Mick Parkin, because I rate Jamal Pogues pretty highly, I think Jamal Pogues is pretty fucking good, and Mick Parkin kind of pieced him up on the feet. Mick Parkin is going to be a lot more technical when it comes to the striking than Lucas Dreski, and also a thing I like about Mick Parkin in this fight is the fact that he can offensively wrestle if he wants to. He only shot takedowns in one of his fights in the UFC, which was against Machado. But, I mean, Lucas also kind of does have a weird chin. He's also been wrestle-fucked by Carl Williams, of all people. And you guys know how I feel about fucking Carl Williams. He was getting fucking toasted. He got knocked down by Carl Williams. Carl Williams' striking is working on you? Yeah, no. I think Mick Parkin is going to confuse Lucas Brzeski or Dreski however much he wants. He's also a big guy. Mick Parkin trains with big people. Lucas Dreski arguably lost his last fight. He's arguably 0-4 inside the UFC. I think Mick Parkin, being at the Super Gym, training with Tom Aspinall, training with all these big guys, I think he's strong. He's young. He's very technical. His boxing, his jab, and ones and twos are pretty decent. I don't think Lucas Dreski is all that great, if I'm being honest. So I'll go with Mick Parkin. I don't know if he's going to be able to knock out Lucas, because Mick Parkin doesn't really seem that he can hurt people on the feet that much. But he is technical, And I don't see Lucas finishing him or outpointing him in this fight, because Mick Parkin does outpoint people. And if he wants to, he can offensively try and grapple with Lucas, and Lucas's defensive grappling is kind of bad. So I'll go with Mick Parkin, unanimous decision, 30-27. We move to Sam Patterson versus Kiefer Crosby. I'm going to go with Sam Patterson by first round submission. When I'm looking at this fight, the thing that I really cross-reference in this fight is Sam Patterson versus Johan Lainez. And Johan Lainez, if you guys remember, it was who Sam Patterson fought at 297. I just think Johan Lainez and Kiefer Crosby are kind of the same archetype of fighters. They're shorter than Sam. And the problem is that Johan actually had longer arms than Kiefer Crosby did. Kiefer's only chance of winning this fight is chinning Sam, which is a possibility. Sam's 2 losses are by KO, and he did get KO'd at lightweight. Again, but the thing is, both of those fights happen at lightweight. Sam is up at welterweight. His last fight was the first time in his pro career he's moved up. And Kiefer, besides his boxing, he does a couple of, cool kicks, I guess. He's not really that great. His grappling is kind of bad. He makes dumb decisions when he grapples, and I think that's what's going to really cost him in this fight, in the clinch especially. He tried to judo throw Kevin Gisette, and if you don't know, Kevin Gisette is a black belt in judo. So Kiefer is a little bit of a slowpoke. What a slowpoke this guy is. Sam, I just think he's very intelligent when it comes to grappling. The finish he got on Johan Lainez, the way he was able to transition from his back on the cage to front headlock to then get the back of Johan, was very intelligent and very, very skillful, if I'm being honest, for a young 28-year-old. I also think the size advantage. Kiefer was struggling with Kevin Gisette, who's shorter than Sam. Sam at lightweight was probably super drained. Up at welterweight, I imagine he's not cutting as much weight. Kiefer, if he doesn't get the hands going, which even then sometimes he gets tagged by a jab, which is Sam Patterson's main weapon on the feet, is a jab. I just believe that Kiefer is going to crumble really early in this fight, probably make a dumb decision, go for a takedown or some bullshit, go in the clinch. And I think Sam Patterson's going to get a rear naked choke in the first round. Kiefer can get it done with a knockout, but that's the only way I see him winning. But even then, I think Sam Patterson can have a little bit of success on the feet before he finally goes for a takedown, or Kiefer makes a mistake in the clinch. We move to Muhammad Mukayev versus Manel Kape. I was not expecting to be talking about this fight this early in the video, but it is what it is. I'm going to go with Manel Kape. This is a tricky fight. It is. And it does belong in the main card. It is wild how they moved it to the early prelims. It is what it is. I think Manel Kape, the only people that are able to take him down are guys like, Nicolau and Dvorak, from what I'm seeing, which Dvorak was 2 years ago. You gotta really think about the inactivity of a guy like Manel Kape. I mean, it's honestly disgusting. But even then, a guy like Pantoja wasn't able to take down Manel Kape. He only shot 1 takedown, but Manel Kape was taking down Pantoja. Manel Kape knows how to grapple. And I know that guys like Tim Elliott and Alex Perez both know how to grapple. But the thing is, Manel Kape is also a very significant striker on the feet. He fights at an incredible pace on the feet. 5 strikes landed per minute is an insane stat of fighting. It is. And Muhammad Mukayev, he does tend to try and slow down fights, but I don't know if he's going to be able to slow down a fight with Manel Kape. And I don't see Muhammad Mukayev subbing. You know what I mean? I don't see him subbing a guy like Manel Kape. I don't see it. He hasn't been subbed since fucking 2017 by Kyoji Horiguchi, who was a hardcore, if you know. You know what I mean? And I don't see it happening. I think Muhammad Mukayev can make this fight interesting if he is able to take down Manel Kape, but I just don't know, because Manel Kape's also super wide, and he's also 30 years old. He's a massive guy for flyweight, even though he is short. He's very wide in stature. Muhammad is taller. I don't know if he's significantly stronger than Manel Kape. And also, Manel Kape does tend to throw knees and uppercuts, so I think that can also deter Muhammad Mokaev from going for as many takedowns as he would like, because Muhammad Mokaev does shoot a takedown pretty often. Let me check that stat. How many takedowns? 5 takedowns per 15 minutes. So basically a takedown per 3 minutes, maybe, and some change. But that's because he's always taking people down. It's not because he's getting stuffed. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think Muhammad Mokaev looked terrible in his last fight, and I know that he was sick against Alex Perez, but that, I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care. What we've seen Tetsuro Taira do to Alex Perez in his most recent fight, where he was literally able to shatter his knee. I know it was an accident. But Muhammad Mokaev arguably lost to Alex Perez, and I just don't rate that at all. Manel Kape, he had a very close fight with Mateusz Nicolau. His only other loss in the UFC was to fucking Pantoja. So, you know what I mean? I don't think Muhammad Mokaev has the chops on the feet to stand with a guy like Manel Kape, and I think that Manel Kape is going to be able to defend takedowns. If he can't, then it is very interesting. So, I'll go with Manel Kape. I don't know if he finishes Mokaev, because I think Mokaev is tough. I'll go Manel Kape, unanimous decision, 29-28, because I think they're going to find any reason to give a round to Mokaev in this fight. We move to Oban Elliott versus Preston Parsons. I'm going to go with Preston Parsons. Again, kind of a tricky fight. I think Preston Parsons and Oban Elliott, when you put two guys in there who are able to mix the grappling together, Oban Elliott is mostly a dominant wrestler. He gets to dominant positions, and Preston Parsons is a pressure style fighter, pressure kickboxer who likes to get in the clinch, go for double leg takedowns, shoots blast double legs. When these two guys get in the cage with each other, it's most likely going to turn into a slugfest on the feet. And I think Preston Parsons, with the hands, with the leg kicks, I think he's just a little bit more technical and a little bit more seasoned than Oban Elliott. Oban Elliott throws a nice teep kick to the body at moments. But besides that, man, he leaves his chin in the air. He's able to get hit. And one thing I like about Preston Parsons' history in the UFC is his last fight. He fought Matt Semmelsberger. Absolutely toasted him. And he also had a pretty clean fight with Matthew Semmelsberger. And Matt Semmelsberger is not a guy people have clean fights with. Usually people get clipped and dropped and hurt. Like Uros Medic at 291, he won the fight, but he had a very, very tough fight with Matt. He was getting dropped in the first round and everything. Preston Parsons probably had one of the better performances we've seen anyone have over Matt Semmelsberger in recent memory. I think in the ground game, I think it's close. I think pure wrestling, I would go Preston, but clinch grappling, judo throws, I think Oban Elliott's actually pretty good, which is why this fight's interesting, because I think Oban Elliott can get to more dominant positions when prompted on the ground, but I think the strength from Preston Parsons is very, very much there. He's a big, muscly wrestler, and he's got good cardio, and Oban Elliott does slow down, and I think this fight does take more place on the feet. I like the leg kicks, the inside leg kicks of Preston Parsons especially. I think the body kicks from Preston Parsons, he does really good pocket boxing. He moves his head. He's honestly very decent in the pocket, Preston Parsons. When I'm looking back at that Matt Semmelsberger fight, he moves his head off the center, rips to the body, rips up or cut to the head. And I think Oban Elliott, I did dog on him in my fighters I want to see lose their next fight video, but looking back on it, he's not that bad, and I think this fight's going to be very competitive. I think it's going to be a fun watch if it is a stand-up thing, because I do like Preston Parsons' striking. It's not the most technical thing you'll ever see, but it is dirty boxing, and that is something I do like to see. And Oban Elliott does have a chin, but I mean, he leaves his chin in the air, and Val Woodburn's able to clip him. So I think Preston Parsons is just going to be able to land the more damaging shots. He's got a good chin on him, and I think the cardio of Preston Parsons, his nickname is Pressure for a reason. He's going to pressure Oban Elliott for the entire fight, land a barrage of strikes. I don't think he's going to be able to finish Oban Elliott because Oban Elliott is kind of a dog. So I'll go Preston Parsons, unanimous decision, 30-27. I just think he's going to out-damage Oban Elliott across 3 rounds. This will be a fun fight, though. We move to Modestas Bukauskas versus Marcin Prachnio. I wanted to go with Marcin, but I'm going to go with Modestas Bukauskas. This is one of the... I know I've said the word tricky. This is a very interesting matchup to me. Because Marcin Prachnio was a guy who came into the UFC. This dude's been knocked out by like Sam Alvey and shit, but then he's able to beat guys like Khalil Roundtree, right? Marcin Prachnio, he's one of those point kickboxing style guys who's ducking in and out, throw a crazy head kick, he'll throw a 1-2. One thing I've noticed about Marcin is that he does gas out a little bit. He does tend to slow down a little bit. Modestas, I think Modestas can win this fight if he clinches a lot, which is going to be tough. But Marcin Prachnio, a lot of the guys he's beating as of recent, Devin Clark, William Knight, you know what I mean? These are not really high-level guys. I'm not saying Modestas is beating crazy high-level. I mean, he struggled a little bit with Zach Pionga, but he's able to rock Zach Pionga as well. And Marcin Prachnio, he's very awkward to deal with, but Modestas Bukauskas is a all-in fighter. He throws everything 100%, but he's also got a little bit of the grappling edge as well. Same with Marcin. Marcin does mix in some takedowns. He took down Devin Clark, for Christ's sake. But I'm also not going to forget about Marcin's chin. And Modestas' chin is a little suspect as well. He did get KO'd by Vitor Petrino last time out, but again, it's Vitor Petrino, right? Marcin Prachnio also lost to Vitor Petrino on the ground, of course. He got subbed. But I think Modestas is going to be able to mix it up a little bit, try and wage a war in the clinch. The jab of Modestas, I think, will do a little bit of wonders. I like the leg kicks to try and limit the movement of Marcin Prachnio. I've never seen a lot of people throw a ton of leg kicks against Marcin Prachnio as of recent. They all kind of are too confused by the awkward movements where he's breathing in and out, heavy as fuck, just moving in and out, lifting his lead leg, doing all this movement shit. Modestas, I think if he's just able to focus on a game plan, throw a couple leg kicks, clinch a lot, land a couple of knees, because I like his clinch game. That's one of the parts of Modestas. He's one of those light heavyweights that loves to clinch a lot. I think he's going to be able to do decently well against Marcin Prachnio. I almost went with Marcin because he's an underdog in this fight, but when I'm watching tape, I'm just like, you know, I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't know what it is. I can't see Marcin beating Modestas. I don't know what it is about it, but I think Modestas is going to be able to land not often, but heavy. And if he does land heavy, because Marcin does sometimes give up when he's throwing something, he'll kind of like throw it and then be like, he's out of range. And he'll kind of just get out of position sometimes, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You know? And the styles that work well against Modestas are significant counter-strikers or people who are on the front foot, like Zach Pionga in the first round was able to bulldoze Modestas. Marcin's not a bulldozer. He's a sit-back, relaxed, get in your face, get in and out, throw, get in and out. And I don't think that's going to work against Modestas Bukauskas. So, yeah, I'll go Modestas Bukauskas. I'll go TKO second round or unanimous decision. I think he might be able to finish Marcin, catch him coming in, but besides that, I don't. It's a tough one to like pick like a certified pick. I'll go KO second round. Fuck it. We move to Jake Hadley versus Kalen Loughran. I'm gonna go with Kalen Loughran. This is up at bantamweight. Jake Hadley's taking this on short notice. I don't know what that was. This is a terrible idea. Jake Hadley's small not small, but he's not super massive for flyweight. He's going to look very small compared to Kalen Loughran. He's going to be taller, but like size, muscle-wise, you're going to see a size disadvantage. And Jake Hadley, we've seen him get taken down by flyweights before. Kalen Loughran is a very muscly bantamweight, and the only way we've seen Kalen Loughran lose, aka Taylor Lapilus, was when he was getting outpointed on the feet and not being able to get takedowns. Kalen just had a great fight with Angel Pacheco last time out where he was landing heavy on the feet as well. I just think this is a terrible decision by Jake Hadley. This is a fight where where the divisional skill gap will show if it is true. Because Jake Hadley has no reason of winning this fight. Kane Loughran was able to, even in the Taylor Lapilus fight, was able to get Taylor down. He was able to get to dominant positions. He's going to, he's going to butt fuck Jake Hadley. Okay, guys? This is going to be a sad watch, because Jake Hadley, I've always wanted to be a fighter. Kalen is going to mess him up, man. And I think he's going to be able to take him down a bunch. He's going to cut off the cage very well against a smaller opponent, because Taylor Lapilus had a significant reach advantage over Kalen. Jake Hadley only has 2-inch reach advantage in this fight. And Kalen is a big kid. He's going to take down Jake Hadley a bunch. And even on the feet, Jake Hadley really only throws a step in jab, step in jab, step in jab, 1-2. Kalen's going to be able to dip, dodge, duck, and if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. He's going to take down Jake Hadley a bunch, get him down. He's going to probably do a bunch of damage. I'll go 30-26. I think Kalen's going to get a 10-8 round in this fight. Maybe 2. I don't know if he's going to be able to finish Jake, because Jake he's a tough cookie. What a tough cookie this kid is. But Kalen, yeah, unanimous decision. I don't think he finishes him, but he'll beat his ass. We move to Molly McCann versus Bruna Brazil. I'm going to go with Molly by KO. Another tricky one. I think Bruna's going to try and use her range well. Bruna really does try to play counterpuncher when people rush in, and I think that can lead to Molly being able to implement maybe a bit of wrestling. Molly looked really good against Deanna Belbita last time out, and I will say that. I do rag on Molly quite a bit in private, but she had a very good performance last time out. And Bruna Brazil last time out was struggling on the feet with a girl like Luma Lekbunmi, who I just don't really rate that well on the feet. Molly does hit hard. 6 KO wins. And Bruna has been KO'd 3 times. Well, not KO'd. She had like a injury. But like we saw her get KO'd bad by like Denise Gomes, right? So I think this is going to be an interesting fight. I wonder how Molly will deal with the range. I think she'll fare decently well. I think in a technical aspect, Bruna will look a little better. But I think Molly's able to make these fights a dogfight. And we've also seen Molly up a weight class deal with even bigger girls and be able to KO even bigger girls. So, like, Luana Carolina, of course, is a great example. She was able to KO her. And even though she is a bit slower, Bruna is a bit quicker. But I think Molly's just going to be able to implement her game plan well. She might be able to mix in the grappling a little bit. I wouldn't be shocked if Bruna tries to mix it in, because she has a high takedown accuracy. She has like a 60%. That 63 takedown accuracy in the UFC. So maybe we'll see Bruna try it, and she might get reversed. I don't know. But it does look like Bruna she absorbs 4 strikes per minute, man. I don't know about that. Yeah, I'm going to go Molly by KO for sure. We move to the featured prelim, Nathaniel Wood versus Daniel the Pit Pineda. I'll go with Nathaniel Wood by TKO in the second round. Of course, whenever you have to pick a Nathaniel Wood fight, you have to factor in the fact that he's a little chinny. But I think Daniel Pineda, he's slower now. Guys like Cub Swanson are able to piece him up on the feet and TKO him. Alex Caceres is able to kind of piece him up on the feet as well. And you guys know how much I love Alex Caceres, but I will rate Nathaniel Wood's striking over, in a technical aspect, over Alex Caceres. He's also mad inactive. He's 38 years old, Daniel Pineda. He does hit very hard. He has like a 100% finish rate, correct? Yeah, 100% finish rate. Last time he KO'd somebody was in 2020, and that was with elbows on the ground. So he's also a steroid cheat. Yeah, I don't really rate Daniel Pineda that much. You know, he's an old head, same thing. And Nathaniel Wood has been in the cage with some monsters like Charles Jourdain, Andre Fili, Mohamed Naimov, who did just lose, but had a very cool fight with him. John Dotson. He's been in there with a lot of great guys. And Nathaniel Wood is starting to build into this featherweight frame even more. And Daniel Pineda, the only way he wins this is by a fluky KO, in my opinion. But I think Nathaniel Wood, he's quick enough. He's going to have a speed advantage. He's going to have a technical advantage in this fight, I believe. I like how Nathaniel mixes it up as well. So, yeah, I'll go Nathaniel Wood TKO in the second round. I just think he's a better mixed martial artist. We move to the start of the main card, Arnold Allen versus Giga Chikadze. I'm going to go with Arnold Allen, probably by third round submission. Listen, Giga's going to have a little bit of success early on in this fight because he does start pretty quick. But what I like in this fight for Arnold Allen is the fact that he can offensively grapple if he needs to. And I also like Arnold Allen's strength of schedule as of recent. I mean, Sadiq Yusuf, Calvin Kattar, Max Holloway, of course, and Movsar Evloev. Giga, his last fight was against Alex Caceres. Again, I will say, I love Alex Caceres. But, like, that's your most recent fight, dude. I don't know, man. Giga has a significant size advantage over Arnold Allen, but Arnold Allen's wide and brash. And I think he's going to be able to, if he needs to, offensively wrestle with Giga Chikadze. I just think that Arnold Allen, if he's able to have a good striking competition with a guy like Max Holloway and Movsar Evloev, who I know a lot of people discredit Movsar Evloev striking. He isn't even that bad on the feet. His chin is just a little suspect. But, and he has threat of the takedown. Arnold Allen is going to breeze by Giga Chikadze because Giga, one, he's old. He's 35 years old, man. You know, he's not fighting, he's inactive, he's injury prone. This is the most active we've seen Arnold Allen in our lifetime. He used to be like a one fight a year kind of person. And Arnold Allen, he's in full motion. So I just think that Giga inactivity, the fact that Arnold Allen can offensively grapple, and Arnold Allen's striking is good. He hits very fucking hard. And Giga, he isn't even really that well-rounded. He's mostly a heavy kickboxer. His striking with his hands is a little suspect at times, even like Alex Caceres is able to outbox him in moments. I just think Arnold Allen is just a better fighter than Giga Chikadze, and I think that this is just enough of a drop-off in competition from Max Holloway, from Movsar Evloev in Giga Chikadze, that I think that Arnold Allen can win this with ease. This is definitely his easiest fight in recent memory. And Giga's cardio also is not my favorite. He gassed out after the first round against Calvin Kattar. Don't like that whatsoever. That was a 5-round fight. It was 4 more rounds of him just getting fucked up. So, Arnold Allen, third round, sub or TKO. Finish in the third round, whatever you want to say. But yeah. We move to Christian Leroy Duncan versus Gregory Rodriguez. I'm going to go with Christian Leroy Duncan. I really don't like Gregory's chin against a guy like Christian Leroy Duncan, who has such power in his hands early, especially. You know what I mean? Like Bruno Ferreira, Jordan Williams, Bruno Lopez. I've heard of this name before, haven't I? Is this guy on the Contender Series? Oh, he got knocked out by him. He's on the new... Okay. Anyways, but yeah, I think that Christian Leroy Duncan, he's just too technical of a striker for Gregory Rodriguez. I think if Gregory is going to win this fight, it's going to be using his grappling. But I think Christian Leroy Duncan, at this point in his career, should only focus on defending takedowns. And Gregory, he's been KO'd 3 times, all in the first round. That's when Christian's at his most dangerous. And we've also seen Christian Leroy Duncan be able to push a pace a little bit in his most recent outings against Dennis Tululin and Claudio Ribeiro. And Gregory also does get tagged a lot. I rewatched that Brad Tavares fight, and Brad was landing a lot of shots that, in my opinion, Christian Leroy Duncan is going to have a hell of a time landing, especially a jab, a 1-2, being able to cut off the cage well. Gregory just leaves his chin in the air so much. And Christian Leroy Duncan, he's never been KO'd, 10-1. The only time he lost was against Armen Petrosian. When he tried to do too much, he kind of just lost the plot in that fight. I don't know what he was doing. But Gregory Rodriguez, He's a killer be killed fighter, man. And, you know, if a guy with short arms like Bruno Freire is landing on you, how do I tell you? You're cooked. You're cooked against Christian Leroy Duncan. You know, Gregory, yeah, I don't know. He's going to have to grapple. And if he doesn't grapple, he's going to get KO'd in the first round by Christian Leroy Duncan, who does have to pile up damage, but Gregory does get wobbled by shots that Christian Leroy Duncan lands at an all-time. And I think Christian Leroy Duncan also mixes it up very well. He is awkward to fight. That Gregory might get clipped with a spinning wheel kick or a spinning elbow or elbows or Muay Thai knees. You know what I mean? Gregory is the type of fighter to get hit by those. I mean, we've seen him get hit by a knee by Chidi and Njokuani. Gregory needs people to gas out to KO them. He needs to apply damage as well. Same with Christian Leroy Duncan, but I just think Christian Leroy Duncan is more technical, and he's also had a full camp for this fight. Gregory did not. We move to the featured fight. King Green versus Paddy Pimblett. I'm going to refer to him as Green for the rest of this portion of the video. I'm going to go with Paddy Pimblett. I'll go by KO. First or second round KO. I think Green's chin is just not good in the sense of just fighting, and I think it's just a chin difference between him and Paddy. Paddy does leave his chin in the air. It's going to be a big cage, which does favor Green in this fight. But I just think that Paddy just hits so hard. He doesn't hit so hard, but it's the fact that Green just can't take a punch. You know, he's been KO'd so many times in the past couple of years. And Pimblett also does have that threat of the takedown. I know Green has insane takedown defense. The only guy that we've seen really dominate him on the ground in recent memory, in my knowledge, is Islam, of course. But Paddy's offensive wrestling is not great, but his judo and jiu-jitsu are very good. And I think if he's able to get this fight even in the clinch, he's going to be able to dominate pretty easily. Green succeeds on the outside when he's jabbing away. And Paddy's able to eat a punch. So I think if they trade punch for punch, I just think that Paddy hits so much harder than Green does. And he's going to set him out on his ass. And, you know, Green's taking a lot of damage, 37 years old. This is going to be his 50th fight ever in his career. Damn, that's kind of crazy to think about. Jesus. Damn. But, yeah, I think Paddy's just, he either takes him down, the fight. Though my whole thing is the fact that when guys knock down when they knock down Green, rather, they don't follow him to the ground. They let him get back up. Paddy, if he knocks him down, he's going to follow him to the ground. The only guy that we saw follow Green to the ground was Jalen Turner. So we saw that. We saw what happened there. So, yeah, I'll go Paddy first or second round KO. His wild, meaty old hooks. I think he's going to land one. And we've seen from Paddy, he hits extremely hard. And Paddy is able to find his way on the inside because he has such a good chin. I think he might even be able to find some success in the grappling, because Green does make some shortcoming mistakes in grappling exchanges. He does give up his back quite often, which he shouldn't do that with Paddy. Like in the clinch, he'll kind of lean over and give up his back to try and escape. It's kind of weird, but yeah, I think Paddy Pimblett's he's just too young, too good of a chin, and too powerful as well. We move to the co-main event, Tom Aspinall versus Curtis Blades 2 for the interim heavyweight championship. I'm going to go Tom Aspinall, my first round KO. I think Tom's just too quick for Curtis Blades. I think Curtis Blades, he's too plotty as well. I just think the stand-up, like guys like Chris Dawkins are landing jabs and right hands on Curtis Blades. You know what I mean? It's just like the speed disadvantage of Curtis is going to play heavily for Tom Aspinall in this fight. I just think it's too great for Curtis to overcome. And also, even if Curtis isn't having success on the feet, what is he going to do? Grapple? Right? You know what I mean? I just don't really see a way that Curtis wins outside of some random KO. Or possibly dragging it into deeper rounds, I guess. But even then, Curtis, the way he's losing is by early KOs. You look at the guys he's losing to, Pavlovich, Derek Lewis, and Ngannou twice. They're all early KOs. Curtis is just too plotty. He's slower. I think Tom is one of the fastest heavyweights, striking-wise, with the hands we've seen in a minute. He's highly intelligent. And even then, like, the ground game is there. If Tom Aspinall's losing on the feet, he can just fucking spear Curtis Blades into existence. We know how bad Curtis's takedown defense is. For the wrestler, quote-unquote, of the heavyweight division, his takedown defense is dog shit. We saw it in the Almeida, the Jalton fight. So, Tom Aspinall, first-round KO. I think he's too quick, too powerful for Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades too plotty. He gets hit a lot, and when he gets hit, he kind of shuts down. Curtis, if you look at the first fight, Tom Aspinall, he kind of goes in there knowing he has an injury, and he had the injury. He kind of goes in there flustered a little bit. We're not going to see that when he fights Curtis Blades. We're going to see a more reserved, more technical, more speedy Tom Aspinall like we've seen against Tybura and Pavlovich as of recent. And Tom honestly looks unstoppable as of right now. So yeah, I just think that Curtis... I just don't see him winning, dude. We move to the main event, Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad 2. I'm going to go with Leon Edwards by unanimous decision. When I'm looking at this fight, you know what I mean? I just think that what Belal Muhammad does well, which is pressure kickboxing, throwing out the body kick, throwing out the jabs, I think Leon Edwards just does better than Belal. Besides maybe grappling, I guess. I think Leon's going to have a size advantage over Belal. For as long as their fight lasted, it was a little bit competitive, but you could just tell the power difference in the fight. And I know Belal took it on such short notice, but seemed like everything Leon was landing was deterring Belal Muhammad. And I don't like the finishing ability of Belal at all. If he's not able to finish a one-armed Gilbert Burns, he's not going to be able to finish Leon Edwards. I think Leon will tire as the fight goes on. I think Belal's best chance of winning this fight is way later because Leon does slow down and Belal does have good cardio. But I think Leon, the whole thing with Leon is everyone that fights him is a pressure-style fighter. An Usman, a Colby Covington, a Belal Muhammad as of recent. But we've seen guys like Usman and Colby in the last two fights take steps back, not move as much forward as they would, like Usman did in the second fight where he was just trudging forward. In the third fight, he was taking a lot of back steps. Colby legit was on the back foot almost the entire fight. So when I'm looking at this fight, I'm really thinking, is Belal Muhammad at 36 better than a 35-year-old Kamaru Usman? And I do not think so. I think Belal Muhammad is slower. I think he's not as technical. I think Belal, at this point, his best performance was against Sean Brady. You know what I mean? Belal hasn't fought in over a year. Is he going to dominate Leon Edwards on the ground when Kamaru fucking Usman couldn't even do that? No. I don't see it. I get that it's going to be a competitive fight. It will be. It will be a competitive fight the third round and on. I think Leon's going to dominate the first two rounds. The third round will be quite competitive. 4 and 5 will, I think, be Belal Muhammad's best chance of winning the fight, to get a finish at least. But I just don't, Belal's pressure is going to be something in this fight, but I think Leon Edwards does hit harder than what people think he does. I think he does hit hard. I think he's also very technical when it comes to striking. Belal Muhammad does leave openings. He does. He's been hit by a head kick and rocked by a head kick about 5 times in his fucking career, which is one of Leon Edwards' best weapons. He's going to have a reach disadvantage. Leon, yeah. I'm sorry. I just don't see Belal winning. I don't know what it is about it. I'll go Leon Edwards, unanimous decision, 48-47. And even if it is a close fight, and Belal arguably wins, who do you think they're going to give the decision to in England? Keep that in mind. I'm UFC Thoughts. These have been my picks and breakdown for every fight on UFC 304. Edwards vs. Muhammad 2 on July 27th, 2024. My confident picks reside with Kaylin Loughran, Tom Aspinall, and in the main event, Leon Edwards. My pre-card rating is an 8 out of 10. I think this card is great. I think a lot of the matchups are very interesting. As I've said, there's a lot of tricky matchups to pick on. The main card, Did lose Muhammad Makayev. Manel Kape got moved to the early prelims for some reason. But I think the matchup, Christian Leroy Duncan, Gregory Rodriguez, even though a lot of people do not know who these guys are, if you're not like hardcore, this is going to be a very entertaining fight. Arnold Allen, Giga Chikadze, Green versus Patty Pimblett, Tom Aspinall, Curtis Blades, and Leon Edwards, Bilal Muhammad. You know, I do hate the fact that it is late for UK fans. It's going to be 6 in the morning, you know, by the time that fucking Edwards and Muhammad fight, which is dog shit. So, yeah, I don't know. I like the card a lot. It's going to be very entertaining. So, yeah, watch it. If you guys like the video, give it a like. Give a comment on what are your picks. I don't know. See you guys in my recap. Peace.